What's up, G Show Land, and welcome to another episode of the G Show Podcast. I am G1, and this is the Godzilla Block Party. Today's a small panel, but it's a good panel nonetheless because it's me and my cohorts on the G Show, G95 and G73. What's up, G95?
Going on, guys?
Yes, sir. And what's up, G73? How's it going?
It's going all right. Just tired, man. It's tiring today.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. So, you know, the podcast, it's the Godzilla Block Party. We talk about Godzilla here, and we're going to get on with it today. Starting, of course, with G73, our main man getting all the news. G73, what has come out this week as far as Godzilla is concerned?
This week has been another dead week. Well, I wouldn't say necessarily dead, but regarding anything major with Godzilla Resurgence, all we have really gotten is the news that they are releasing an episode of Crayon Shan, I believe that's what it's called, Shinozuki versus Shin Gojira. And this is the first time ever in our history, I believe, Godzilla has ever been in an anime. But what is really cool about this is that they're talking about how Godzilla will be very movie authentic in this anime. We will hear his roar if it is different, which I mean, I don't know why they would make that very exaggerated if it wasn't any different from what we heard in the trailer. We also will see his movements, which I guess will be interesting to see. Now, there has been talk of the atomic breath, but we don't know if that's going to be different or not. It wasn't really said in the article or anything, but it just is adding more speculation, like what else would they add different, you know? I mean, in the picture of it, it's blue for the little teaser of it, but who knows, maybe that's just a little gimmick, you know, just to show it off, to hype people up. But a little bit of other news here has been something I've been trying to read into, is that Japan has some kind of Godzilla themed restaurant going on they're starting to make. I'm not too sure what it is yet, but I'm looking into it. But I just read this article, and it was just a whole bunch of Godzilla themes on the wall and a bunch of food in honor of Godzilla, like themed in, just a bullshit kind of way in Godzilla's honor. And so I'm still reading and investigating on that. But if that comes out, that's something cool, because I know there's some place in Italy that has a Jurassic Park restaurant, and that's kind of cool. So this would be kind of cool to check out too. So that's pretty much it for news, guys. It's been a tiring week. Not really anything going on.
It's tiring and nothing's going on. Talk about slow moving.
G95. God of War is keeping me occupied.
There you go. G95, anything stand out in two tidbit information pieces we got?
Just the anime, really. Which I personally don't even really care that much about. It's not that big a news if it's just one episode. It's probably just going to be kind of a standout thing. It's not the most important thing. Like, we should be getting other news, better news, trailer. But, that's just me.
Totally.
That's actually something I want to add about the anime, but we can get back to that in a second if you want to add something.
No, go ahead, add it.
I just wanted to clear up with everybody. It is not a series with Godzilla joining it permanently. This is just an episode featuring Shin Gojira. And there have been some people that have been asking me that, and some people that I've been seeing saying that this is a Godzilla anime. No, that's not true. This anime, Shin Crayon, has been going on for a while, and this will just be an episode used to promote Godzilla Resurgence. So just wanted to clear that up with you guys. This will who knows, he may be in other episodes after this, but for now, this is the only episode he has been scheduled to be in.
So, G73, let me ask you a question. Do you have a release date? Did they give that
July
information?
22nd.
July 22nd, okay. Oh.
There has been already leaks of it on the internet, photo-wise, and I'm trying to find if I can connect with a video somewhere, because someone has been saying there has been a video, but I can't find it. And But so I keep only finding images of it, and I've seen some pretty cool images. And I think you guys have seen it too. It's just pictures of Godzilla coming out of the bay and stuff like that. But if I find anything more, of course, just check out her stuff, and it'll be posted.
Nice. Yeah, the anime thing intrigues me. At first, when you first brought those images to our attention, I thought, all right, maybe this is just like an advertisement or something. The character, I recognize the character. I forget who it is, but I do. I've seen it around YouTube and different anime sites or clubs I frequent. So I was like, yeah, I guess it's definitely aimed at children. But you got this like horrific Godzilla. And Shin Godzilla, and
the anime too.
Right, so it's so crazy. I like that it's gonna be movie accurate. I do remember that image of the blue atomic breath. So, I mean, for me, I would hope it's blue. That's just my personal opinion. I like Godzilla with blue atomic breath. But yeah, I thought it was just like an advertisement. I didn't know it was gonna be like an anime. I mean. Is it going to be just an episode of this anime? Or is it going to be like a special, like an hour-long special? That. Do you know any information about that?
The only thing I've read is that it's an episode. I don't know how long it's going to be. I mean, I don't know how long those episodes usually last. But they said it's just an episode. But that would be kind of interesting if it was an hour long, because that's a lot of Godzilla that they're showing off here, and we haven't even gotten the movie yet.
If they show up that all that Godzilla at all, I mean,
it's probably could be in there for like 5 seconds or something like that.
Exactly, he'll have a little bit more screen time than G14. Not that I'm bashing G14 people. Stop it. I love that movie. The restaurant thing is kind of funny. I just we have the Godzilla hotel already. Why not put the Godzilla restaurant in the Godzilla hotel if that is actually happening? Just throw it in the restaurant. I mean, in the hotel, and it makes the most sense. Or in the restaurant that is already there at the hotel, just have Godzilla themed food items. I guess a whole restaurant. I don't know if that's even necessary. It's just so weird. Like,
it's Japan.
No, I get that. But we're talking about, if this is true, a restaurant. We're talking about a restaurant before, and that brings us to the topic of the day, before a new Godzilla trailer. Where the fuck is it? Anybody out there in G-Show land that has any sort of bit of knowledge that can share with us, post it on the page, send it to us in a message, anything that gives us any type of information on when. Listen, Star Wars Rogue One isn't coming out until December. The other day we found out we getting a new trailer next week. A 3-minute trailer. That movie doesn't come out till December. Shin Godzilla comes out in 20 some odd days. Where's where is the story trailer? Where's the trailer? At this point in the game, and I know we've had this discussion on previous podcasts. We've had this discussion several times on several previous podcasts. But now it's crunch time. We're here at 20-something days before this movie opens, and we have
2 weeks and a half.
Yeah, and all we have is a trailer that doesn't tell a story, shows a couple of shots of Godzilla, and an epic soundtrack. We know nothing of this movie other than Godzilla is messed up, and there's a bunch of people. So, and of course we know that it's completely disconnected from anything that's come before, which is cool. But still, we need to. I'm not speaking for myself, and I'm not speaking for everybody, but I know for a fact that I'm speaking for a majority of G fans when I say we need to see another trailer. We need to see something now. It's just where the hell is it? What is
It's not
Toho?
the trailer we need. It's the trailer we deserve.
Way to go, Batman. Where is this trailer? What is Toho trying to accomplish by not showing this to us? Unless, and this is the scary part, unless this movie is not finished. And again, I get that sometimes movies ain't finished until like maybe 4 or 5 hours before they ship it to theaters. And that's cool, that's understandable. This is going to be Toho's first foray at a completely CG Godzilla feature-length film. But there's gotta be some things done. You can't tell me that the only things they had done for Godzilla was what we saw in the previous trailer. I don't buy that. So, I guess what I'm trying to get at, and this is the questions I'm going to ask you guys. Do you think that when that trailer released, the backlash, because there was backlash, I think there was more backlash than support for the look of Godzilla from the fandom. Do you think that scared Toho into saying maybe we should revamp? I mean, and I'm gonna jump the gun and answer that question myself. I don't think it did, because everything we get, and as far as marketing is concerned, still involves this looking Godzilla, this thing. But do you think maybe they're scrambling to change the story around or something? Maybe let's not have this thing look like this the whole time. Maybe let's make it look like, what we know as Godzilla in this movie for more than they originally intended. You guys following what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
So I'm going to start with you, G95. Do you think maybe that's the case? Do you think they're holding out on this trailer because they got scared of fan reaction? Because I know you love the look. But there were many others that didn't. Do you think Toho might have kind of been like, hold up, let's pump the brakes and backtrack and let's try to do something else? What's your thoughts?
I feel Hideki Anno and the other director, whose name we never bothered to learn, sadly. I think they would probably have said something indicating that they'd be reworking things to a degree. I mean, Hideki Anno, at least, has been the most outspoken one out of the two of them about this movie, about what we're gonna expect and his love for Godzilla and stuff. And he sounds like he's really, based on what little we've heard from him about the movie, he sounds like he's really, like, sticking to their idea or what they want to do with it. That being said, I'm getting pretty fucking sick of defending them for the lack of substance. All we've got is marketing, merchandise, more marketing, but nothing tangible. And I'm getting really, I'm running out of reasons to
give a shit.
Before I've used the argument like, oh, we don't really know how things work in Japan. Maybe this is normal. Like you said, maybe it's not done. Stuff like that. But it's getting to the point where this is unacceptable.
Yes.
This is just to the point. It makes me nervous. Like, what if they're just gonna push back the release date at the last second? Or I don't even know. Like, it's so bizarre that we got this little thing like 4 months ago, and it's been dead silent as far as material wise since then. We've gotten marketing, but nothing else, and that's a little bit like scary, kind of. I don't think that's a big marketing ploy, is to keep this movie under such high, be so top secret that nobody knows anything about it. I don't know. It's weird, and I'm getting really sick of defending it, because we as a fan base and as just moviegoers in general deserve to know what we're going to pay money to see. I'm sure all of us are going to pay for this on VOD, or the second it goes up on iTunes, or pre-order for DVDs. I don't know how much movies cost in Japan, or how much it is to go to a theater in Japan, but I mean, it's weird. It's weird, and I find it to be unacceptable in this day and age to where we're pretty much force-fed everything, on a big spoon. Like, all the plot, all the details, all the little spoilers are in the trailers nowadays.
Yeah.
Fucking Doomsday was in the trailer of BVS.
It's true.
But it's I don't know. One part of me wants to keep defending them and be like, maybe they've got some big master plan, and another part of me is just like, fuck it, like, get your shit together, Toho.
Totally agree. Before I jump to you, G73, I just want to touch upon something G95 said earlier in his comment there. You said that you think the directors would have said something already. While I agree with that, do you think maybe because you know how Japan is a very prideful country, an honorable country, do you think maybe they're not saying anything because they don't want to diminish their pride or honor in their work? Especially because when this was coming out before the first trailer, it was built, so much hype was built up around it. And then we got those first photo image leaks that we shouldn't have seen. Like, I really wish we didn't see those because it already started to get this negative ball rolling. And again, that was before we even had anything in motion as far as trailers go. We knew nothing. All we knew was there's a pretty fucked up looking Godzilla suit right there. So do you, like, when you said that, I think what went through my mind was maybe they got too much honor and too much pride to come out and say, hey guys, you know what? Maybe we're not making that movie we thought we were going to make. Which I hope is not the case, honestly, and I've said this before. I want to see this movie so bad because I want to know why Godzilla looks like that. That's huge. And that's not the drawing point for the movie. The drawing point for me in the movie is Godzilla. It's the fucking name. We wouldn't be having this podcast if it wasn't for Godzilla. So that has already had me hook, line, and sinking. But I'm worried because we know Hideki Anno, before we got anything as far as the images or the trailers, as far as a year ago when he was saying he was so nervous with this movie, it was so much pressure built on him, put on his shoulders. And I mean, we've spoke about this before on other podcasts where you look at something like Evangeline or Evangelion, this dude, he's an emotional guy. He wears his heart on his sleeve. I respect the shit out of that. Actually, I think more people should. But sometimes that might sink people, especially people who can wear their heart on their sleeve, but their heart is not strong enough to take the criticism. And I'm looking at you, George Lucas. You know what you did there with the prequels. But, so yeah, do you feel that maybe what I'm saying there is making a little bit of sense, or you're going to stick to your guns, which I have no problem with?
No, it does make sense. But I think it might be inaccurate. I guess. I think they're prideful enough and confident enough in their art to be like, okay, if this is the case, okay, we're not getting the reaction we wanted to. We want to like the story. We want to like what we're creating for you, and we want you to like it too. So we're going to change some things to make it better. And I feel like maybe we would have gotten that. People were so upset with how the last 2 episodes of Evangelion ended that Hideki Anno just made a whole movie to make the ending make more sense, or like an alternate ending. He didn't just create like a little snippet to put on the VHS or the DVD. Like this is what we could have done. He made an entire movie about an alternate ending. So clearly this guy cares about his fans and what people think about his work and people's reactions to his work.
So then, before I go to G73, and I'm going to let you have as long as you want your spiel, but G95 just brought up a really good point there. That Hideki Anno created a whole, and I haven't seen the Evangelion movie, so I'm going to just say 90-minute feature-length film that gave Evangelion an alternate ending. That being said, because of the fans weren't happy with the way it ended. That being said, could that be a catalyst for why we don't have a new trailer? Because he saw an X amount of backlash. Because let's be for real here, okay? And if I'm wrong, G Showland, please get in the comments and correct me. Godzilla 14, okay? Legendary's Godzilla really did some justice to the brand. It really did. Now, people can complain, well, Godzilla was in 2 minutes of the movie of Ford Brody, a.k.a. Quicksilver, a.k.a. Kick-Ass, sucked. Fine, whatever you want to say, it don't matter. The fact is the movie made money, and it brought a resurgence, pun intended, to the Godzilla franchise. And there's Toho now like, oh shit, they just knocked it out the box. Let's get in there. Let's make it bigger. Let's make it scarier. Let's bring it back, And they announced, we're going to make our own Godzilla movie, and we're going to have these guys do it, and this is slated for this date, and the ball starts going. This guy makes some offhand comments about weight of the world on his shoulders. We get the images. There's crazy talk all over the fandom. Then we get the trailer. There's even more crazy talk all over the fandom. He's got to be seeing this. I don't think, and I'm not saying this to take away from any of the Japanese national, I don't think this movie is made for the Japanese people per se. I think it's made for the world more than any other Godzilla movie. I think this was the one that's like, you know what? America just did what they did with G14. We're going to make a new one. We're going to make one that's, for everybody also. But of course, again, it goes back to that national pride, the honorable thing. Of course, they want to make it for the people of Japan. I just don't know if the people of Japan, today's generation, care enough the way we over, outside of Japan care about this product, the same way. Maybe I'm spieling, I don't know. But maybe what you said, he went and made a whole new movie to correct or to please, let me rephrase it, to please the fans who weren't feeling the last 2 episodes of Evangelion. Maybe that might be happening now with this movie. They're doing a course correction, which is why we have no footage. And we are less than a month away, like G73 said, 2 weeks away from this thing, or 2.5 weeks, and we've gotten nothing. G73, you've heard us. You've heard my questions to G95. You heard his responses. I want to hear what you have to say, brother.
Boy, do I have a lot to say right now. So, where should we start? Let's talk about the impact 2014 made upon Japan taking the step to make this new Godzilla movie. After that pretty much happened, Japan can't ignore the American audience. That's the one thing people keep forgetting is that, oh, well, this movie's targeted for Japanese audiences. It's being marketed in Japanese audiences. It's not being marketed yet. But the thing is that if Toho really thinks that this movie is only going to be targeted for their audience, they're stupid. And that's because America, America and Japan, if anyone, I'll put it this way, America is Japan's biggest fan. Let's put it that way. And Godzilla is something that America has a big relationship with. Believe it or not, with all the Godzilla has, reboots, reimaginings, it has been a big impact.
A generational
Probably
impact too, generational, because if it
yes.
wasn't for your grandfathers or your
Hmm.
fathers introducing it to us,
Hmm.
so you're right.
And and Godzilla probably has been the biggest things, probably next to Ultraman. And what I also want to mention is that Japan, Toho earlier in the beginning of all of this, they said that they wanted this movie to be a worldwide success. And that opens a lot of questions to me too, in a sense that they said by 2020, by the time Japan has their Olympics, they want Godzilla to be a thriving, popular icon again, as more than he is now. And that's another thing too, is that I don't think that they're just targeting this movie just for their little, island. I
Right.
think that's a I think that's too much work at this moment, and if they want it to be that big of a sensation again, then that's not going to do it, just them. And we got the title Godzilla Resurgence, and that's the American title. So they do have plans eventually to have it hit American soil.
Right.
Um, you know, I
Good
feel
point.
bad
Good
saying
point.
this. Hold on, okay.
That's a good point.
Yeah. I feel bad saying this because the UK and the rest of them, I mean, I don't know how marketing works over there. I know Leonard says that they don't really get much news regarding Godzilla or anything regarding Godzilla or giant monsters. So, I mean, I can just take his word for it. I do know, however, Japan, uh, Europe got pretty cool Godzilla 2014 items when it came out, and America didn't. So there's a little bit of love going on over there. But I want to go back on the topic that this movie. I don't think Toho would say that they want this movie to be a worldwide success if they didn't. And in regards of you know us not having a trailer yet, if it and Higuchi, he screwed him when he said that at the toy reveal. And I know we've heard that it's post production or this or that. I think that's if it was just post production, I think that's kind of obvious. That's all they need left to do to this film, and I think he wouldn't have mentioned that. I think he would have been like, "Well, that's not that big of a deal then." The fact that he came out, and I don't know if anyone else has seen it. The actual video of him, translated, is him saying that the movie's not finished, and he kind of laughs about it, which okay, but I feel like after he said that, that was a big mistake. That's kind of admitting it there that we've ran into some kind of issue, some kind of technicality, and we're trying to fix it. Whether it is that they're adding new stuff to it, I don't know. I mean, for all we know, because the acting was done way before anything else was done. For all we know, they could be maybe adding scenes for another monster in it. I mean, I've always been thinking about that. Maybe they're adding final touches. Maybe at the very end of the film, we get this big old beat down, scrapping with Godzilla and some kind of mutation or whatever, and we don't know. You know, but the thing is that it's not. I'm not that I'm. It's not that I'm worried anymore. It's that I just kind of don't care anymore. I have when I do this, when I start to get my hopes up about anything, whether it's Godzilla or Predator or a band that I'm into, I if I get my hopes up and I start to get disappointed, I shut myself off because I don't like to get hurt. And I know that sounds a little bit silly in a sense of not getting hurt, but I do just because my disappointment, I'm my own worst enemy. And when I get disappointed, I really get upset. And so I have come into the rest of this that whatever happens, happens. And I've pretty much put behind me that Godzilla Resurgence is basically happening. I'm kind of trying to go into it as surprise. I mean, I know that's kind of contradicting myself because I'm looking up Godzilla information daily and maybe hourly.
You're the man.
Yeah, and but what I'm doing is I'm basically whatever hype I have put behind me, and I am kind of just trying to not set myself up to be too overhyped, and if we get something that is disappointing, to be very upset about it. So in my head, what we have is in a few years, Godzilla 2 and the rest of that franchise. That's what I'm basically keeping in the back of my head. And right now, there is talks of Godzilla Resurgence. That's pretty much literally what it is too. Is just talk of Godzilla Resurgence. We're not seeing anything other than marketing, and I'm bored with the marketing. I'm done seeing toys. I mean, they just released the Benny Presto figure, an unboxing video, or starting to hit homes in Japan, and I'm kind of disappointed in it because it looked really big, and it's not really that big at all. It's pretty much as big as my Godzilla 2000 Benny Presto, maybe a little bit smaller. So I'm kind of seeing all that is just kind of beating a dead horse over and over again. I mean, if that restaurant is true, they're making a Godzilla restaurant. All right, okay, so what? Tell us later. I mean, I would love to get more of this news later, not now. You know, tell us what's important. You know, show us. If Toho even came out and said, "Hey, let's just letting you guys know we are working hard on Godzilla Resurgence, but we are going to push back the release date to, let's say, August," I would be okay with that, because then I would know, all right, then we still have a little bit more. Maybe it would give them more of a chance that we don't feel like we're in such a crunch time. We're not feeling as suffocated, especially for the fans. Now, however, if it is that... you know, the movie's not finished, then I think by right, they have to let everyone know that.
Right.
But the thing is I don't think they would, because I see it also in the way that if they do tell people it's not finished yet, or that we need to push it back a release date, I think that would kind of make everyone laugh at them, because they did hype up Godzilla Resurgence to be this big bad movie and this big bad Godzilla. And they're kind of like, karma maybe bit them in the butt a little bit. But the thing is I also see it that if they also told people that they're scared, because with how Godzilla started to go through a downfall in the last movies with budget-wise and box office, I think they don't want to risk that for people to be like, well, shit, this movie's not worth seeing if it's not finished, or if it's, you know, there's, you know, it's going to be like a very rushed film. But that also worries me too, is because if they are working on it this hard, I don't want them to rush it. I don't want it to feel rushed. If I see this Godzilla movie, I want it to feel like a Godzilla movie and not a pushed film where it's kind of racehorsed and half-assed. So that's... I know everyone, this is what I've been kind of wanting to say for a while, and the way I'm feeling lately, I'm just going to say it in regards to whoever it bothers or hurts, is that for all the people out there that I see saying that this movie, there are people saying that this movie's going to blow 2014 out of the water, and I'm like, what speculation has given you that yet? That this movie's going to blow 2014 out of the water? And
well, you know what? Hold that thought. I want to come back to you on that one.
Okay.
Hold that thought, because I like where you're going there. I want to ask G95. G95, do you have anything you want to say in response to what G73 said? Because I think he made a bunch of valid points there.
No, he really did. Yeah, like everything you said, Chase, has just been really spot on. You know?
Thank you, gentlemen. And I thought you were muted there for Matt.
That was my
okay.
for a second, so it was fine.
Okay. Okay, just checking. Well, then, before I go back to the 2014 thing, I guess I'll go back on to what I was going to say. Is that if it was really a post-production thing, like I have seen, you know what? I'm just going to come and say I've only seen one person said it's a post-production thing, and I don't think he's right. I don't think they are right. I think that's an excuse, and he's not in Japan. He's not Japanese. How would he know? And the thing is, it just comes back to the fact that Higuchi said that out loud to everybody. It's not finished, and that's the problem.
Real quick, let me ask you a question. Do you recall when he said it's not finished?
It was at, well, I don't know the date, but I know the event it was at that everyone can look up, and that was the Godzilla Toy Fair.
Was that was that in June?
That was in June, towards the middle of June. Yeah.
So that's scary right there. No, that's a scary thought right there. And again, look, I don't think the movie needs to be finished just yet. I'm not asking for it. We want this movie to be perfect. I think that goes across the board for every G fan. We want this movie to be perfect, right? Because it's Toho. We're rooting for Toho 1. And it's Godzilla. Fuck yeah, we want Godzilla back.
Mm-hmm.
And don't get me wrong, I love 2014. I love it. And that's, I keep saying it's a conversation for another time. It is. But that was an American movie. And in all honesty, they showed Toho up. They showed him up. And that's why we can't resurgence so fast. Oh, yeah? We're dropping another one. And we're going to make them bigger. And we're going to make them ugly and scary. And we're going to frighten everybody. Fuck it.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no problem with that. We're rooting for that, But on the same side of the coin, we have nothing but, like you said, like G95 said, merchandise. The merchandise ain't telling me shit about this movie. Let me be honest here. If I was a casual Godzilla fan and I saw that trailer, I don't want to see this movie. I could care less about this shit. I'll wait for it to be on El Rey Network next 4th of July. In all honesty, like, I'm not going to pay for it.
Years.
Yeah, I'm not going to pay for this. Because it showed me nothing. I have no... And even if it isn't Japanese, even Japanese people are saying, what the fuck was that? It's just a bunch of clips. I don't know.
Hold on one second. That's another thing I wanted to mention to you guys, too. And I have mentioned it in the past. The Japanese public is not excited for this movie.
Wait. So how do you know that?
Because on Twitter, I read all their reactions, what they're all saying. The majority of what I have read, it hasn't been positive. Now, they have been a little bit more lenient because this anime has been shown in their face, but the majority of what I have read since June all the way till now is almost the same, maybe worse than the American audience has been pointing out. It's not just that they're slander. Well, it is a lot of slander for the suit. I mean, they are saying a lot of shit about the suit, but they are saying that, especially when Higuchi said it wasn't finished, that they're saying that this might be a very... I mean, what the gist of it is that they are not being very forgiving with this movie, and it's kind of funny reading their reactions. But now that this anime has been kind of pointed out, a little bit of the reactions have been a little bit more excited, but I think that's just because they like anime over there. It's a big thing over in Japan. And but the Japanese audience, at least at first, has not been very forgiving with this film.
I love the Japanese cult. I'll tell you right now, I love them so much. Fuck this movie. What the hell is that? I can't stand it. Godzilla anime. Fuck yes. Bye. I love it. Hey, all you Japanese G fans out there, I love you guys. Seriously. That's so fucking funny.
In regards to that also can be speculation that maybe if their own people have not been very accepting to this movie, that maybe they're trying to do stuff last minute with Godzilla to make it accepting, or to make sure they know for sure that they're going to be satisfied with it.
Jumping off that point real quick, I'm going to get back to you, G73, but jumping off of exactly what you just said, I want to pose a question to you, G95, and then I'm going to ask you, G73. what G73 just said, with the Japanese fans, the people there that they're talking down on it. G95, do you think that, because let's be for real here, the majority, and I mean a huge majority of us, we don't know that. G73 is doing the legwork. He's saying he's got, and I'm taking him at face value. I know he's doing that work. He's seeing all this stuff. All that being said, if they're saying that over in Japan, do you think what we see here in America, because we're not on Twitter following Japanese people, we're just not. But do you think that the people, I'm not mentioning no names because I want to be for real here, I absolutely love the people in the know on this side of the world. I love them. I respect them highly. I get information from them. But do you think that they're playing damage control? And I'm not saying they're on TOHO's payroll, because I don't believe that for a bit. But because what it means to them and what they know it means to the fandom. Because look, there's a lot of people older than me in this community who have made a nice living off of Godzilla. I haven't done that. I run a podcast, and I got the G Show page, and I'm happy with that. I am happy in my little niche of the community. But there are people who report on this stuff for us. There are people who are in the know, who give us information. Do you think that they might be playing damage control, G95, as far as everything we have and have not for Shin Gojira?
No, I don't think so. I think in this time of the internet and I guess truthful journalism and all that, we, at least when it comes to media and nerd geek culture, we're gonna get it told straight. There might be 100 different articles on 100 different sites, all saying slightly different things, but they're all saying the same thing. That I think it's where the news, at least in nerd culture or nerddom, when it comes to movies and horror movies and comic books and superhero stuff and Godzilla, we get the facts, we get them presented to us, and then it usually ends with the question of what could this mean, or what if this means that? And that's where it gets kind of messy, is when it gets, like we do so well here, the speculation. I think that's when it kind of makes things a little bit more muddy, as far as the information goes.
All right. Yeah, I just wanted to ask that question because I feel, and I agree with you, but there's always that nagging doubt in the back of your brain where it says, yeah, they know, and maybe they know a lot more than they're letting on, and they're just giving us the positive instead of the negative. But that's just me. And again, in this particular moment, I don't speak for everybody, but I'm sure I'm speaking for most. But G73, do you think that maybe we're getting shortchanged from the people in the know on this side of the world?
I think honestly that even though we haven't seen anything yet for Godzilla Resurgence, I think the Japanese public know a little bit more than us. Just because there's more going on, than just Twitter.
Right.
And I'm sure there has been more things reported, especially at these events, that, for all we know, Higuchi has made public speeches, at these events. And they just they may have not been hit on the internet yet, Or maybe it's like a Comic-Con deal, where if this has been leaked to the internet, you're going to get in trouble and you can't come back.
Right.
There's a lot of speculations I have with that. And I'm not saying that from what I've read has been an article. It's been an actual thread of people, like a Facebook post. And I just typed in, Godzilla Resurgence in Japanese, the lettering. And it's just from different people all around the net on Twitter that are saying this. And they have all been different reactions that have been negatively, whether it's been his arms, whether they've made fun of it looking like a pinball, or I mean, what I think honestly is that I think the Japanese audience and the American audience aren't that different when it comes to opinions on their franchises, and I don't know. I would like. I don't know. I know people would think that if something has been found on the internet for this movie, or has been said about this movie, we would have heard about it. But it's not impossible for stuff to, not be said about it. It could have slipped under the radar. And as much as I would like to think that everything would be reported, sometimes that may not be the case. But I do think that Japan may know a little bit more about what's going on than us. At least a small portion of people do. I don't want to think that there hasn't been, because there has been so many Godzilla events in the past couple of weeks. Like, there's been a Godzilla toy exhibit. There's been a Godzilla museum exhibit. There has been I don't know if the Parco event has happened yet, but
you have that. I know what you're talking about. You have that the statuette in the mall, that the life size one.
Yeah,
the thing coming up this week.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is there has been many, many things regarding Godzilla Resurgence in Japan. I doubt it if they don't know more than us, just because there has been a lot of those openings have been with the cast and the directors and stuff, and I just don't think that they would have just said, "Here's this statue," or "Here's this toy, love it." I think they have to have said at least something about the film, at least something about it regarding, just something we don't know about, and I think that's a high possibility. I don't think that they don't know I don't think they know as much as we do, and I don't think they're getting more information. I mean, not as little information as we are. I think they know a little bit more. I mean, even they're already doing like commercials for Godzilla Resurgence in Japan.
Well, that's a good question. That's a good thing, though. They're doing commercials, but okay.
But
So what's a commercial for Godzilla? What's a commercial for Godzilla Resurgence? Over here, we call them TV spots. Okay.
Yeah.
In a TV spot, we get bits and pieces of the trailer and maybe a new scene. Is that what they're doing in Japan? Are we getting? Is it TV spots where they're showing bits of a trailer with something new, or is it again an advertisement? Is it the panda guy?
It's been mostly advertisement for different things. It hasn't been specifically or just Godzilla Resurgence like a TV spot over here. It's been like car commercials. It's I don't know if it's a car commercial, but I've seen something about it. But it's been things we've seen already, but just advertised on different things, like the commercials for their exhibits and stuff. They've been doing that like crazy.
Then it's pointless. It's pointless. All of that is pointless.
Yeah. So,
and maybe that's why the Japanese people are getting mad, because they're like, well, we're not even promoting the movie. We're promoting everything else under the sun for Godzilla, but we're not promoting the movie.
The design. That's pretty much what it is.
And the design, people like it and people don't. And so that's not going to win any more cookie points. It's what it is. And they need to get on the ball. And of course, we have nothing to do with that. We can't help them out with that, because if we could, we would. But you brought up again a lot of really good points there. I want to go back to what you said previously about G14, and in about 3 minutes, break down your thoughts on what you were going to say when I stopped you. Give me about 3 minutes of that. Let me know what's going down.
Okay. You want me to go now and talk
Yeah,
about
yeah,
it?
rock on.
Okay. So, Godzilla 2014, that being an American movie, that with right now everything going on with Godzilla Resurgence, that can't just be a Japanese only product. And if Toho ignores the American audience, no, I'm not saying just for a theatrical release, because I'm going to be honest, I don't see this movie getting a theatrical release at all.
It's not over here. It's not.
Yeah,
So people need to stop with their
Well,
hopes on
I'm
that.
I'm just speaking that out of my opinion, or out of what I'm wanting to say, because there are people that think it will.
No, but it's a fact. They've already said that. We're not getting a theatrical release out here.
Yeah. And I just think that if Japan wants to ignore, if Toho's really ignoring the American audience, that's really stupid. Because America is probably one of their second biggest audience, or maybe the biggest audience they have. I think that what's going on is with that, with Godzilla Resurgence being just a Japanese release, I think that's a load of bull. I think, I just think that I don't think they should have said that if they want it to be a worldwide sensation again. Because they said worldwide when they announced this movie, they want it to be a worldwide thing. And, with Godzilla 2014, that ended up being a worldwide, sensation. And it was shown in every market. It was shown in China, it was shown in Europe, it was shown in Japan, it was shown in the United States, and I just don't think, I think if it comes down to Japan being afraid or scared, I think they need to come out now and mention that while they can, before, July 29th gets here, and then they say, hey, it's not coming out, because people can already buy tickets for this movie in Japan.
Right.
So,
well, yeah, of course, it's 2 weeks away.
Yeah.
So let me jump on to you, G95. G73 said Japan wants this, Toho wanted this to be worldwide. True or false? We don't know. But let me ask you, if they were to release it theatrically out here, do you think it will get like an Attack on Titan or Dragon Ball Z type of movie where it'll come out in Hollywood for 2 days and maybe play limited release theaters in the big markets, which means I'm not getting it unless I go to, California. I'm pretty sure you're not going to get it, living where you live. It'll only probably be in LA and New York and, maybe Texas. What are your thoughts on that, G95?
Well, first off, I think that this new Godzilla being a worldwide phenomenon is a pipe dream.
Right.
It's not gonna. It's already alienated enough people to the point where that's an impossibility. It's also, like we've been saying for the past few minutes, that it's not getting a big theatrical release. It's probably due to budget issues and the fact that it's not a sequel to the 2014 Godzilla. That's it's not an American. It's not a big budget American movie, and that's probably why. And if it was to get a theatrical release, it probably would be limited. I got to see the latest Dragon Ball Z movie, or the second latest one, Battle of the Gods, in my local theater, and I live in the middle of fucking nowhere. So that's so I think you're kind of wrong about the whole it'd only be released in New York and LA and Texas and stuff. Minnesota has a pretty thriving film market, apparently. It's news to me, kind of, but we have a few art house theaters that play a lot of really obscure stuff. I got to see My Name is Bruce premiere there with a Q&A with Bruce Campbell. But that's another topic for another day for our Bruce Campbell Day, which we got to do now.
We sure do.
It's the Bruce Campbell Day now confirmed.
Everybody go see Bubba Hotep.
Oh yeah. Oh, if I was old enough then, I definitely would have. Yeah, I think it would probably play in very select theaters, like maybe one in, I don't know. It'd probably play in like 40 states, maybe, for a few days. And that's kind of pushing it. I think it'd probably play for a few nights, and that'd be a super limited run, not enough to really like make money off of it, but just like a treat for the people who really want to see it. But we're not getting that.
So you think it's VOD?
If that, even, really.
No,
I think we might even just have to wait till a DVD gets released or a Blu-ray.
God, I can't stand that. That is, see, and you know what? I absolutely agree with you. At this point in time, at the rate we're going, I think that's exactly
looking high.
Yeah, because here's the thing, man. I honestly believe VOD is the future, and yes, we don't get VODs until at least 6 months after the movie's coming out. And that's here in the States. And I'm talking about, the blockbusters. So, for instance, we've got BVS, Batman v Superman, the extended edition that came out last week, if I'm not mistaken, on VOD. And I think it comes out next week on Blu-ray and DVD, which that's what I'm going to wait. I'm going to pick that up and purchase that. But I feel like, and we discussed this, I think, on the very first podcast we did as far as the Godzilla Block Party. Before it was even called that. It was just the Godzilla podcast. Where I wish international movies in general, but specifically Godzilla, because that's what we're talking about, I wish that they can give us the give us a VOD of that. When it drops in Japan, drop it, let's say, all right, it drops Friday in Japan, drop it Monday here, VOD. Because if it's really good, I'm sure people will shell out the money to see it over and over and over again on VOD and give it a limited release. Give it, like, let's say a week on VOD until the DVD comes out. They'll make their money. They'll make money, and I honestly believe the G fans alone here in the States will make about, because I don't know what the budget is, but I think it'll make about half their budget back, depending. Because I don't think this budget's going to rival what G14's budget was, which I think was like $160 million to make that movie. And it made like $210 million domestically. So it made its money back and some. That was the G fans out here, man. Of course, there was a casual moviegoers, but the G fans went out in droves and seen the movie. And if you were VOD release it, even for a week, fuck it, even a weekend, they will be there. They will watch it. You will make money. Toho, don't be stupid about this. Be smart about this. Really, if you're not going to release it theatrically out here, VOD it so you can make your money. Because if not, guess what? You're getting pirated. And that's the bottom line. Everybody knows that. Okay? Everybody knows that. I saw Godzilla Final Wars pirated when that shit came out. I took off of work so I could see that shit twice in a row. I was like, fuck, I ain't going to sleep. That shit came out maybe 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. It was up on, a certain place I was frequenting a lot. I'm not going to name names. I watched it. I watched it again right after I seen it. Fuck, that weekend, I called up my friend. Hey, come over. Watch this movie with me. No subtitles, no nothing. But I followed it. I loved it. That's another conversation about Final Wars. But if Toho wants to make their money, people in our community outside of Japan will pay for it. We will, because we want to support you, Toho. Get that through your brains. We want to support you. Okay? We want to support you because it's Godzilla. And let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen, that will do it, because we actually went an hour. I am shocked about that. So I want to thank you guys for joining me on this podcast where I thought we were going.
Of course.
Yeah, I thought we were going to go 40 minutes. No, we did the hour. So G73, quick final thoughts.
I feel relieved saying what I wanted to say just because I've been bottling that up, and that's just my true opinion on it. And like I said, for my advice, guys, if you want to go my route, don't go into this with high hopes, because I know some of you guys are, and it hurts me because if you guys get hurt, I'll get hurt, and just don't go high hopes. And there are a lot of people jumping the gun, and that's not going to be smart, because there are a lot of people that have faith that this is going to be the most outstanding film. And I'm just saying it may be, but at this moment, I wouldn't bet on that right now, because you could be very upset. So
yeah,
that's my final words.
Gotcha. G95, any final words?
I think he summed it up pretty well. I mean, I guess the only analogy I could add would be that, everybody got their hopes up for Batman v Superman, and look how that turned out.
Yeah.
I mean, it was still a blockbuster, but it wasn't the blockbuster we were promised.
It did not make what Warner Brothers thought it would. So, yeah, totally agree.
That being said, us being G fans, every single Godzilla movie that could come out for the rest of time, every single one could be a shot-for-shot remake of Godzilla's Revenge, and we would still go see it.
Remind me if I ever meet you in person to put you in a chokehold just for a second, because
Don't even try to deny it.
I'd watch every single one of them. I can't even lie.
Yep.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us. We are the G Show. That was G73. Say goodbye, brother.
See you later, guys. You guys take care.
G's 95. Pleasure.
Yep, as always.
And I am G1 on the best damn Godzilla podcast I've ever been on, because it is the only, that's right, Godzilla podcast I've ever been on. This is the Godzilla Block Party. Peace.